Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the content here on the channel. We've been doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Today, we're doing another NFL-focused video, this time on the Chicago Bears, who moved up in the draft, traded up to get Justin Fields, the quarterback out of Ohio State, and he's going to put a little bit of fuel in the fire there on if Andy Dalton is the starter. Both GM Ryan Pace and now head coach Matt Nagy have said that Dalton is the starter going into the season, and I do believe them on that. I do believe that Dalton, they are planning on having him be the starter for the year. They probably want to develop Justin Fields, but at the end of the day, will that actually happen? That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video a little bit. If you guys do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video right now. That would mean so much to us here at Utility Sports. Also, subscribe if you are new. We did just hit 2,700 subscribers while I'm recording this. Absolutely incredible. Never expected to get this kind of support from you guys. It means so much. We're going to be doing a couple more jersey giveaways on the channel here coming up in the near future. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on those when those go live on our channel. We would love to have you guys all be a part of it moving forward. So, is Dalton going to be the starter? I think so. Week 1, Andy Dalton will be the starting quarterback over Justin Fields. That's just my opinion. At this point, that's what all the signs are pointing to. However, do I think Andy Dalton will be the starting quarterback throughout the season? Let's go ahead here and move forward to the schedule here. They get started week 1 in the 17-week season against the Los Angeles Rams right here, Sunday, September 12th at 7:20 p.m. Okay, very interesting time slot here. Obviously, a nationally televised game. And I think the Rams are probably going to run the Chicago Bears in this one. I think the Bears are a team that are probably trending downwards a little bit, especially with Andy Dalton under center. I just don't think this team has a lot of juice around him, enough juice at least to get them where they want to be. That's why they went and took Justin Fields, because they're aware of this too. They don't want Andy Dalton to be the long-term guy, and I don't think any Bears fan did either. So I think Andy Dalton comes in to Los Angeles in SoFi Stadium, probably loses week 1. You're looking at an 0-1 Bears team. That's when you're going to start hearing a lot of those whispers about Justin Fields. But luckily for Andy Dalton, they go back home to Chicago at Soldier Field to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Here, I think the Bears probably win that matchup. Just looking at the offensive line versus the defensive line there, the Bears D-line is going to dominate the Bengals offensive line. Now, Burrow, if he's healthy, it's going to be a little bit of a competitive game, but I'm not sure if Burrow is going to be ready for the start of the season yet at this point or not. Of course, tore his ACL last year. The Bengals might be extremely cautious if it's Ryan Finley, whoever it is at quarterback there for the Cincinnati Bengals. If it's not Joe Burrow, it's not going to be a competitive game. If Burrow's there, it will be slightly competitive, but either way, I expect the Bears to walk out of that game out of Soldier Field with a win. Then the next week, they go on to the Cleveland Browns, who I think are one of the sleeper teams for the Super Bowl this year. They've gotten a lot better, especially along that defensive line. They have really improved their football team. And Baker Mayfield's going to be a very, very good quarterback again this next season, I believe. So going in there into Cleveland, I'm expecting a loss there. Now you're looking at a 1-2 Bears team after losing week 1, winning week 2, and losing week 3. 1-2, that's when you hear maybe some of the pressure on Andy Dalton. And looking at week 4 right now, if Andy Dalton is not playing phenomenal football in these losses, I think week 4 is the soonest we could see Justin Fields. And the point of this is you're looking at a pretty solid 2-week span here for Fields to get his feet wet in the NFL. His first start against the Detroit Lions team that's going to be one of the worst teams in football. An in-division game, I know there's going to be a lot of pressure there. I understand that, but the Detroit Lions are not a competitive team right now. You don't have to worry about the pass rush either. The Bears are going to be able to protect him pretty well against the Detroit Lions. Don't have a ton of pass rushers. I know they got stronger up the middle defensively at that D tackle spot, but again, I don't think they're going to be putting a ton of pressure on Justin Fields. And also, you have to look at the wide receivers. Allen Robinson is going to be the best player on the field probably at that point in that game. I know Jeff Okudah is a nice young cornerback, but at the end of the day, I think Allen Robinson has the clear advantage there. And I think that this is the soonest we could see Justin Fields start an NFL game. October 3rd, I think is very possible, especially if they come in 1-2 or even 0-3. If something happens in that Cincinnati game, if they're 0-3, it's for sure going to be Justin Fields in week 4, okay? There's no question about that. But in week 3, after week 3, if they're 1-2, I think it's possible we see Justin Fields. If they lost to the Lions, it would be for sure Justin Fields in week 5. But here's the thing. Maybe Andy Dalton wins. Maybe they don't go to Justin Fields. Andy Dalton probably beats the Lions. Andy Dalton probably beats the Raiders in Vegas. That's a close game there. That could go either way, in my opinion. But you're looking at maybe a 3-2 Bears team. They face the Green Bay Packers, get destroyed by the Green Bay Packers if Andy Dalton's playing quarterback. Then they're 3-3. They go into Tampa, get destroyed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if Andy Dalton's the quarterback. Then they're 3-4. Then they go back home to Chicago to play San Francisco in week 9 here. They lose again probably against the San Francisco 49ers, who probably at this point of the season are starting Trey Lance already. And then they're at 3-6 now at this point after week 9. And then you go into Pittsburgh, and you're going to lose again in Pittsburgh probably if you're starting Andy Dalton. Then this bye week is probably when they would turn it over to Justin Fields. There's no way Justin Fields doesn't play as a starting quarterback this next season for the Chicago Bears, in my opinion. Looking at how this schedule lines up in the first half of the season, and just in general, it's a pretty tough schedule. It's going to be a tough year for the Chicago Bears. And I think at some point, they're going to realize it's time to turn it over to our franchise quarterback, the guy who we think could be the solution for the franchise, the guy that Matt Nagy wanted, the guy that Ryan Pace wanted, and the guy that's going to ultimately have the Bears franchise hinge on his shoulders, Justin Fields. I think you're looking at earliest October 3rd and latest November 21st is his first start date. Those are the early and the over and unders for me at this point. I think that those are the ones that make the most sense. Let me know in the comments what you Bears fans think. When do you think we'll see Justin Fields? I know some people even think that he could be the starter on opening night of the regular season. I think that's not going to happen. I think the Bears are going to be a little bit more conservative with him, really try and wait on him. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to. I know Matt Nagy was in the building when they waited on Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, but at the end of the day, not every quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. You can't just say, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes worked because we waited on him. You know, Patrick Mahomes is going to do what Patrick Mahomes did. His last week of the regular season in his rookie year, he was phenomenal in that game as well. Patrick Mahomes is just a different breed. You can't expect, to sit a player and have him, super work out either. Geno Smith didn't work out with the Jets waiting on him. There's been a bunch of guys that it just doesn't work out even if you wait. But at the end of the day, waiting could be really good for Justin Fields. But I also think the Chicago Bears need to let him play a little bit in his rookie season, kind of throw him into the fire, especially when he has Allen Robinson as a receiving threat. I think getting a little bit of chemistry between those two could be really good for this team as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. It means a lot to us here at Utility Sports, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.